here. Okay.
He say he present.
He's present. So we're going to give him a moment to figure this out while we go to the live.
We live, baby.
We is live.
We live. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. I'm excited about this conversation because
I am also excited.
I'm ready. Put on my SpongeBob. I'm ready.
Come through. I am excited to hear from the male perspective on what they are seeking from the goddesses, which are beautiful Black women. Okay, I said what I said. There he is with his glasses. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, how you doing?
Irritated.
Can you see us now?
Yes, I can. I had to switch to my phone.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to help you with the sound.
Yeah, we getting some feedback.
I think that we got on the other one now, so that
works.
works.
My phone because that was no good.
You're gonna have to turn your volume up or speak louder, my brother.
On your
Y'all
radio,
can hear me?
You low.
You a little lower, and I just turned you all the way up, and you're still a little low. You know what? We gonna rock with it.
What happened with Zoom?
So, but it's okay. We just gonna listen.
So listen, I still have the Zoom. I do still have a Zoom account, but it was so increasingly difficult to see comments in the chat, and so I had to figure out a way where I can be more interactive with our viewers. And my producer recommended that I do the restream. So we went with Mr. Producer's referral.
He is the producer.
He is the producer.
And I mean, he's here and present and accounted for. You just need to speak up, sir.
That's
Can
all.
we hear you? Because your opinion matters.
It does. Put a little bass in it. Oh, we have another visitor. Hello, welcome.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Y'all can hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thank
How y'all doing?
We are good. We are just getting up and live. Just talking about how excited we are to have this conversation. So you have not met me officially, Michael. I am Sante. Russia gonna get beat up because lately he been calling me some other name. And it ain't my name. This man done put on a cowboy hat.
Come on, he got the glasses and the hat. He said he channeling some energy for this conversation today. Okay,
something's obviously going on.
Look, and got the big smile. He ready. Okay,
he fishing. That's what he doing. He fishing.
Oh, you out here? You say about Liz? I said earlier. Something. He said since he's talking about being single, he might as well be looking as well on this show.
He's casting the line out there. But I am Sante, and thank you for coming to We Gonna Talk, Mr. Michael. I read your comments this week on the post about single men, and so we really wanted to have this conversation. Last week we did it from the single ladies' perspective, and we want to talk about why single Black men are actually single still. Most of you all are choosing to be single, right? And you're looking to settle down, from what I understand. I know Rush is, but you're not really finding what you're looking for. So we want to talk about that, and we want to talk about what the Black single man needs, what he is looking for when it comes to committing, and just have this real authentic conversation. And here you are safe. Last week things got a little out of control.
Okay.
And we not doing that this week. So
it was some men folk in the comments that wouldn't let us live.
Listen, but we not, that's not part of our ministry on this day. So if we do happen to start to skate down that pathway, delete, and block. Okay, that's just it. We're not having that. This is not a place to injure. This is a place to heal and get an uplift. We're trying to get that understanding in. So let's do this. Let's introduce our guest, Nat. I mean, most people already know Rush. Rush can it can be considered a regular, I guess. He comes on quite
And be
often.
mad when we don't invite him on every episode.
He feel like he's supposed to be host number 3. I think that's
basically what he's saying.
like,
Well, no,
I'm not a host. I needs to be on here every week.
Come on, yeah.
yeah, I felt like that until y'all started having certain topics, and I was like, yeah.
Then he like,
They
I'm
was
glad
right.
I'm not
I'm
the
gonna
host.
sit this one out.
Well, we gonna talk. So I mean, you gonna have to talk.
about it.
We gonna talk about it. And so I put on my glasses today. I know y'all don't hardly ever see me with my eyes on. Most of the time, y'all be fuzzy as ever, and y'all would never know.
See, no, you come on. First of all, I don't take my glasses off, so no matter where you see me, they're probably gonna be asleep. I got them on. Like it don't matter. It don't matter. My mama told me I sleep in my glasses because I need to see my dreams. Okay. Wear your glasses, sis. We do not judge you.
No, I really don't wear them because I'm trying to train my eyes not to need them. It's not that I'm ashamed of them. I refuse to get dependent upon my glasses. And that's the trick. See, they trying to make me dependent on the glasses, and then I'm gonna need to use them all the time. But I'm trying to retrain my eyes. So Mike looking at me
But
like,
is that a thing,
you
sis?
looking at me like she
I
crazy?
don't think that's a thing, sis.
It makes sense to me in my head. Don't judge me.
So Mike, you want to go and introduce yourself?
Yes, go.
Yeah, I clicked something. This is something that came up on the screen. I'm trying to get it off.
Oh, he done, bro. We see you though. We see you.
I
Yeah,
know,
we see you and we hear you good.
I do want to get this thing off. It say Restream. Hi there. Thank you for choosing Restream. Really want to get this
And for
thing off.
those who do not know, Restream is our viewing platform of choice.
Yes.
Yeah, because I can't even see myself. Let me see something.
See, I ain't
Okay,
the only
I
one
got it
with
off. I'm sorry, I got it off.
You got
Hey,
it
how
up.
y'all doing? Thanks for inviting me. I go by the name of my name on social media is Michael Williams. I'm Mike Williams, and my artist name is Just Mike the Poet. I'm a poet, author, and I do a lot of hosting. I've hosted radio shows, sports, or pretty much open mics and stuff like that. And I'm involved with a lot of community things. And I read my sister post, and it was interesting to me, and I just gave my feedback, from it. So.
No,
And that's what we want to hear.
That's what we want to hear because we've been
But
running.
can we talk about it though before we jump into the convo? I think we should set the stage for the people on the men folk who don't want to speak their truth.
Yeah, so I was actually just headed there because
Okay.
the whole premise of the show is to have us having these conversations we don't have in our community because they become generational curses, right? We pass them down from generation to generation. And the more generations that come, the more broken and divided we become amongst each other. And a big part of that is because we don't talk about things openly, authentically, and safely either, which is what I came across a lot with asking a lot of men if they wanted to come on and have this conversation. A lot of men don't feel safe to come and have this conversation openly, and we want to stop that because y'all should be safe with us. Yeah, I see that sip, Mr.
It's
Mike.
water. It's cold. I mean, it's hot. It's water.
Let me quench my thirst right now because is there some truth to that for the two of y'all? Do y'all run into feeling like it's hard to express yourselves as men without judgment, safely? Like, what is y'all perspective on that before we hop into this convo?
You go first, Doc.
Don't all speak at once.
Go ahead, Rush.
Yeah, no, I almost told Natalie like, do it anymore.
Like he definitely tried it, but I was like, sir,
Yeah.
we have this conversation all the time. Spread the wealth.
Sent me the link, like, so 8 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, okay. Because I didn't want to say anything that would be offensive to anyone, and I know, sometimes I can be offensive, so I didn't want to be.
You come a long way though, Rush. As long as
You
we ain't
have.
tossing fruit cups, we
Oh
okay.
Lord, these fruit cups. Mike, that
Not the
fruit cup was
fruit
a story.
cups.
Don't worry about
Huh?
Not the fruit cups.
Traumatized.
it. I was telling you about this fruit cup. We're not gonna deal with them in this fruit cup, Mike. You
No,
Oh,
just
that's
know
like
the
eight
story.
shows ago, and I'm still stuck. I'm still
That
stuck.
was like 7 years ago.
She's still on this fruit cup, Mike. We just gonna let it go though.
okay.
You know, if we don't say anything, maybe she'll keep going.
What about you, Mike? Do you find it difficult to have this conversation authentically amongst, especially women?
Not at all. It's really because of I'm very vocal, and
Mm-hmm.
I speak out. I talk about a lot of different things with my writing, and I'm very vulnerable. I'm probably more vulnerable than the average poet or artist. You know, um, I'm comfortable. I'm cool with it. I mean, if it's something I'm not cool with, then I mean, I probably won't say anything, or but other than that, I'm open. That's why I'm here. So.
All
I
right,
feel
then.
like as we were individually talking to me and asking the question, and even you might have even saw it on my post where
Right.
men will like say something, but it's kind of vague and elusive. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me know. Because for me, as a person, like, I want to hear everybody's side. I want to hear everybody's opinion, especially coming from last week's episode where, the women are like, yeah, I'm this way because of this. This is what I'm looking for. And I want to hear that from for the men. I want to know as a man, what is it that you need or are seeking from a black woman so that we can help women get to that level. Because I gotta hold my sisters accountable just as I hope y'all hold y'all brothers accountable, right? But like it's just aloof. It's like I won't.
Very aloof, very just vague, like 2-word responses is like, can I have more? Can you expound on that? Let's explore this together, gentlemen. Let's talk more
Let's have this
in-depthly about it.
conversation
Yeah.
because your opinions matter, and I think that's the thing with men too. Is the validation that we want to hear what you have to say. I'm not asking just to slap you down. Like your opinions matter, your feelings matter, what you're looking for matters, and I don't think men hear that enough. In my opinion, so I think it's also that perspective too. They like, why you asking? Which one? Like, it's like
Mm-hmm.
a little defense there. It's like, because I really want to help you. Like, I want to know.
I
So,
think it's more than just that they don't get asked that. I think that when they do get asked that, it's like a loaded question. So
mm-hmm.
what I found a lot of times is that women say they want the truth and want you to tell them the truth. They ask for the truth, and then when you tell them the truth, it takes a person that's really deep into their accountability journey, because that's what that is. You reach a point of accountability. Mr. Brown, are you typing? What is happening?
I definitely was hearing it too, though.
I know. I'm like, what is happening? You putting in some earbuds or something?
No.
I don't know. I don't know what the weirdness is.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
there
Biggie,
though.
it sounds like an alien or something coming in on us. But I think that a lot of times we ask for that realness, and then when we get it, we don't really receive it that well. And so you have to be in a certain spot in your healing journey to actually receive that message without taking offense to it and then getting argumentative and listening to understand and not listening to respond. I think sometimes, and I posted this as well about deprivation. I think what the root of it, all of it is that we both feel deprived on both sides from being heard, listened to, authenticated, validated. And so it becomes a what about my pain? What about my
Mm-hmm.
pain? What about my hurt? You don't care about my pain, my hurt. And then it gets in the way of us listening to each other. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how we can get over that and get to that point where we're hearing each other, because not all of us are, or all of you are single because you don't have options. You're choosing to
Right.
be because you want to be strategic with who you build a life with. You want to not make the same mistakes twice. And I think that it would be helpful for especially the women out there that's looking, that maybe feels like, well, why I can't find a guy that wants to commit, or they find a guy they think that he's looking to commit and he just doesn't seem to do it. And so we want to talk about how you guys get there. What are you looking for in a woman to commit to? What do you need? Like, do y'all get asked often what you need?
He like, no.
No. Well, you know what? Let's start there.
I love
Yes,
that question.
please.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm ready.
start
Brother,
there.
you have the floor.
Yes,
Pass you the
and
mic.
hopefully Mr. Brown, Mr. Russia Brown will return to us soon. So we gonna give him a minute. So, Mike, what do you need?
Um, it's a lot. Like you seen my comments in the post, and that wasn't even half of it. And I wouldn't even say this too much because I believe that if you desire something, even the person on the woman's side, you all have desire. So I don't believe anyone should settle. You know,
Mm,
I believe you should go what you desire. Go for what you desire and what's cool with you, what's comfortable, for you. I even put down like, okay, I don't exit a woman out if they have children. I said, okay, anywhere from 1 to 3. That's fine, depending on age or whatever. And some guys are different. Some are like, I don't want a woman with no children, or, so I'm trying to see. Um,
I would say to specify it for you, like literally go for and think about what you need. So like when you think about spending the rest of your life with someone and sharing
right.
your life with someone, what are things like, I need this. If I don't have
Okay.
this, I won't be happy. I can't
Okay.
sustain this.
I got you. I would say, number one, I need a friend,
mm,
outside of, relationship, love, all the lovey-dovey stuff and business and, this and that. I need a friend, I think that's a good start, even before a relationship, to look at it, to build a friendship first. I think that's really good, to have a friendship. Definitely someone, to listen to and to understand you, as a person. Um, and also to be, I would say, submissive, allowing me as a man to lead, you know what I'm saying? Not for me to be in control or control things, but just allow me to lead, as a man.
can I pause you right there? Because I think that I'm really trying to get this understanding, or this at least a respect for when people or women hear submissive, or men use submissive, that it's understood, received, and conveyed in a way where it's not controlling, right? Because
Right.
it automatically comes off, because that it has a very negative history, right? And so a lot of women, when they think of submission, they think of relinquishing their power, their rights to make choices, etc. And to them, it sounds like control and servitude. So I
Mhm.
like what you just said about not in controlling you, but being able to lead you. Can you explain the differences in the two for you?
Um, that's a good question. That's a difficult question, really. Let me see.
So the difference between allowing a man to lead and having a man be controlling over a woman.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure I understood the question.
Right. Well, for one, we're all adults. I would say it kind of starts with your attitude. You know, you have some people where they're demanding, controlling, like sit up here and just tell you straight, this is the way it's gonna be, this is the way it is, and without really talking things over, or allowing the woman to give a suggestion of why a particular thing maybe should go like this or whatever, versus just saying this is it and that's all. You know what I'm saying? That's it and that's all. You know, because as two, you should be able to work together and work things out. Be able to compromise and because you like a team. You know what I'm saying? So you want to build and you want to grow with each other. So whatever decisions is made, it should be made for the both of you all. You know what I'm saying? For the best for the both of you all. You know, and that's the way I look at it. Not just one person, not just one person being selfishly, you know, over something being made. I wish I had an example maybe to explain something.
I
think
think
you
you
did a
explained it
good
well.
job. Yeah.
What's that?
I said I think you
I think
explained
you
it
did
well.
a good job because usually when that question comes up, that's probably the most detailed answer that I've had on a public forum from a man when asked that question. And I think that it's a very important topic that we need to talk about because it gets very lost in translation for women. When they hear submission, they hear something completely different from what you just said. And I'm
Mhm.
always trying to get people to understand that the way submission is usually given off, it's more like oppressive than it is actually loving, actually protection, actual consideration. It really does take away from it makes a woman feel it takes away from her power and that she has
Mm.
to diminish herself to submit. And it's not the same thing because what you're talking about is what a leader does, right? If you're a real leader of a team,
Mhm.
the captain of the football team has to think about the plays and how it works for the whole team to score the point for the team. It's for everybody. It's not just for one person. And so I think
I'm picking up in the background.
yeah. That's you, Nat. You gotta turn your music the thing down. There we go. So I don't think it ever gets talked about in the way that you just brought it up. And the first thing that women hear in submission is, you want to control me and not, no, I want to lead you. I want to protect you. I want to take care of you. I want to work in partnership with you. And so I think you did a really good job of explaining submission, actually. And I think, Nat, you were saying that you felt the same way.
Mm-hmm. I definitely do. I'm taking notes as always. So
You go.
I'm excited to hear Rush's answer. You know I got my notebook. So.
I know you got your notebook. And Rush done disappeared on us again.
Again.
See, Rush ain't fooling nobody. He trying to get out of this.
He trying to skate out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the best things about that, your response for me, was that understanding in the keywords. I always listen for keywords because just like it's certain words that you hear that helps you to understand something, it's certain words that you hear that triggers you, right? But a couple words that you use that I think were relaxing words is what I call them, is partnership in a team. To say that you and your significant other will be a team versus me dictating. It's
Right.
a dictatorship and democracy type of platform that I think that women, when they hear submissive, they think of the dictatorship and not the democracy of, okay, we'll come to these decisions together. But what you said you needed was a woman that could allow her man to lead. And that is, I feel, is a necessary trait and characteristic that women need to have, because in certain situations, you have to let your man be a man. And that's different for different men. That's different for different relationships. Whatever worked for your relationships, work for your relationship. But at the base level, if you're a man or if you are a man and you do have that rapport and relationship with the woman where you're talking it out, you're taking consideration into how she feels and what she says, then I think at that point you've allowed yourself a position to be a leader without pushback. Because if you're saying, I care about how you feel, I'm making decisions based on that, and I'm taking in consideration your opinion, then if a woman is in that situation and she still will not let you be the lead that you need to be in that situation, then she needs to check herself. That's my personal opinion. Some women might be mad at that, but that's
I think it's a little more complicated than that. And I think that that's why I'm so intrigued about having this conversation and why it's one that I push all the time whenever I can to have this conversation, because it's far more than just checking yourself. it also is about like how it's conveyed. So it's one thing to say that, but then you have to be that too. So being a leader is an action. So you can say, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to make decisions in care of you in consideration for the well-being of us as a unit, but then you need to be that verb, be that action.
Yeah, that's why I said if they've already set the rapport of making decisions based on how you feel, and if they've already set that standard, that's what I was saying. If they've already done those
things, it also may take time because it's an unlearning process. You have to, we have to understand as a community, a lot of Black women have not seen submission in a healthy way. They have not seen women submit to their husbands and it be a beneficial thing. They have heard things that have made them feel like this is dangerous, this is a detriment to, and there are some, mothers and grandmothers that will pull you to the side and say, don't do that, because of their own trauma with that. So while it's not really fair to ask men to make up for that, I do think that how it's spoken about and how it's shown needs to have consideration for the trauma that comes with those emotions when they hear submission. You were talking about hearing the words, I call those disarming words, because you become disarmed. So naturally, if you've been in a trauma response to something or something has happened to you traumatic, you're going to try to fight if somebody ever comes at you and makes you feel like they're doing that again. They're trying to rule over you, take over you. So you're ready to be defensive. But when you're saying words like what Nat brought up about, I love you, I care for you, I'm trying to do what's best for you, that person can be partnership. That's a disarming word, and not, I need a woman to submit because I'm the man and what I say go, and that's
instantly a wall goes up.
You need a slave.
That's it, right. Exactly. I need instantly it's a guard that goes up when you say stuff like that. So I feel like you explained it really, really well, and it soothed. It was soothing. It was like, okay, all right, brother, I hear you. Yes. So Rush, you here now? Let's hear from you.
Because you ain't getting away from this conversation. I like you trying to run. You trying to run. Come back, Rush. We ready for you. Let's hear it. What do you need, Rush?
Can I tell you what I need before you continue?
To speak up.
To speak up. I need you to speak up, brother.
Okay. I would say I would need good communication. Like my mama said, a friend. Someone who is actively working on their healing, because we all have some kind of trauma, right? Someone that is open to new ideas, new things. Someone who is reflective and can understand their parts in certain situations. Someone who can take accountability. Someone who allows me to be or who accepts me as a whole person. Just someone that's open-minded.
Come on, Liz. Where's my tambourine?
So now that you guys have
listener.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Rush. I didn't know the listener.
He's like, but wait.
He said, hold on now. There's more.
You got more.
A good listener. Someone that can be vulnerable and allow me to be vulnerable without criticism.
That's a big
one. Safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, I've witnessed women say, I want a man that's caring and that'll cuddle with me, and we'll read poetry together and all of that. But then, if he comes to you in a vulnerable state, they're like, you kind of being, kind of. Can we curse on here?
Can we curse on here?
As much as we don't curse, then
Well, I just wanted to make
We
sure.
can't talk unless we
I,
say
Unless
we
we,
I
I
just
mean,
want to
as
make
long
sure.
as it don't turn into,
No,
beyond, and be, then you
no.
good.
Okay. Then they'll kind of be like, you bitching, and and
Mhm.
but then we'll flip when they're in a vulnerable state, and because you are now you've shut down your emotions, then they feel some kind of way because now you can't empathize with them. But it's like, well, how can I understand your emotions if I'm not allowed to understand my own? Yeah.
Come on, can we talk about that for a second? I know you might have more on your list, but I need to pause here. Because it's a beautiful list. Look, I'm taking notes. I got the list. I'm gonna recap for everybody at the end.
Mm.
But I just want to say how important and powerful that is. We had a conversation before where we talked about raising young men, right? We talked to mothers about raising men, we talked to fathers about raising men. And one thing that we brought up and we talked about is that when we diminish boys' feelings and we tell them or basically show them with our actions and sometimes straight up tell them out our mouths, oh, boys don't cry, men don't do that, boys don't do this. What do we expect we're raising? Because then they become men who don't cry, who's not attached with their emotions, who don't really care about yours because they don't care about theirs. And then we are begging them, or their wives are begging them to connect with them emotionally. So I just had to hit on that because that's a powerful point you're making. We have to, as women, I hope all the ladies out there are listening to me. We have to allow men to feel, because if not, we're creating robots and we're wondering why we're not getting what we need because they're not here. They're not present. We have to allow men the space to feel what they feel and express that.
And for me personally, and probably other people as well, it becomes a breeding ground for resentment, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then it becomes, I don't want to hear your shit. You didn't want to hear mine. So I don't want that. I'm not going to have that.
Speak.
I'm not going to accept that. Um, Also, I think it's just important to understand that from myself that change happens, um, and that you're going to, how they say, the person that you marry won't be the same person in 20 years. I think I've seen a lot where people try to change and grow and expand themselves as a being, and their partner is not supportive, um, and they don't want to like grow with them, or they want things to be the same. I don't want that either.
So to me, it seems like you put some thought into this.
Oh yeah, a lot of thought. I put a lot of thought into it. I spent a lot of time reflecting, um, and I just going through certain experiences. Each experience teaches me something, and I'm just like, okay, don't want that. Um, Previously, I had a woman where I tried to be um, caring and a good listener and all of this. But then when I would tell her about my feelings, she'd be like, "You bitching," and I'm like, "Okay, well now you get another version of me." Um, and of course, that version she did not like, and so I'm like, you know what? Before I revert back into the
Try to
person that I'm trying not to be, we this isn't going to work, because I'm looking for something well-rounded, and obviously it's not going to be here.
I wanted
I
to
think that's
talk
important.
pick up also the piggyback off of that, and then what Nat said a minute ago, because a lot of times we talk about it from the mother's point of view, or with the son, and boys don't cry and you can't do that. But just imagine the effect it has on young women growing up and hearing women talk to men that way as well. So they grow up thinking that men aren't supposed to do that as well. They grow up expecting for a man to have this toughness. And it's a contradiction. It's to you both's point a moment ago, is that the two can't be the same. Like, if you want me to be emotionally intelligent when it's you, then that requires for me to be in tune with my own emotions and having my own personal emotional intelligence. And to your point of feeling resentment, and then it becomes a tit for tat. It's like, okay, you want me to be accessible for you, but you're not accessible for me. You want me to look at you and see your humanity, but you don't allow me to have any for myself. And I think that that's a really important factor that women need to know. And men, like, it is okay for men to have that humanity. There's a difference in crying over everything. So if you cried over, I dropped my cup, I spilled my milk, woe is me, nothing ain't ever right, then it's like, okay, we may need to, really talk about what's going on with you. There may be something else going on there, friend.
Right.
That's completely different from, I'm tired. I'm having a tough time. The walls are closing in on me. It's even to a point at times where if you're grieving, people don't allow men to grieve with tears and emotion. You have to be strong for everybody else, right? Like, be strong for the women. You can't do this, you can't do that. But sometimes being strong is in taking care of yourself, because we all know you can't pour from an empty cup. So I definitely think that is such an amazing point that you brought up, Russia and Nat, about allowing men to have that space. And I think that we forget that. We always talk about being a man's piece. You hear that, be a man's piece. Well, part of that piece, look, Mike's ears don't pop up.
He's like, be his piece.
Right.
That's one of them trigger words. He was like, what?
So since that was obviously a ding ding buzzword,
it was a buzzword.
Let's talk about it. Oh, we gonna talk then.
Now, I mean, come on, that's a thing. And I hope you guys have seen the memes out here everywhere. There's so many variations of what people are saying that means. Like, be his piece. It means this, it means that. But what really does it mean? I want to know from y'all what it means, because again, on social media, there's a whole lot of different takes on what be his piece means. And from the list that I'm writing,
oh, not a list, sis. You done got the list?
I got the list.
Oh, Lord.
So from y'all, like, perspective, and for some of the things that you're saying you're looking for, what does be his piece mean?
I would say a helpmate, and if you want to use the other, depending on how you spell it, PEACE, that helps as well too. To be, a man's piece. As a black man, in America, we don't have it easy. Dealing with jobs, dealing with other black men, and just period. It's not easy. So it's like, if you been out working all day and hustling, trying to provide, and you come in and what I'm saying, you want peace. You know what I'm saying? For me myself, I want a meal ready. I don't want to have to come home and cook. That's why I'm looking for somebody. Because for one, I'm not a cooker. I can't cook. I don't want to cook. I don't like sitting on my feet. I'm a barber, and most of the time I'm always on my feet. I'm on the stage, and I just want to rest. But at the same time, I could, I might could prepare you a meal, or take you out or buy you one as well too. But that's just one of the things that helps me. A meal ready, a surprise dinner, something, my favorite meal, that brings me peace. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, that's a part of peace. But I would just say a helpmate. A woman is there to do a lot of things that the man can't do. And vice versa. The man is there to do a lot of things that a woman probably can't do, or maybe she shouldn't be doing. It could be changing a flat tire or something like that. No, let me handle this or whatever. So I would say it works and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Y'all help each other to do different things. That's just a little bit, my take on it.
Well, I heard you saying that.
I'm gonna let you finish.
You got tamarind.
What I heard in there, so we can translate it, so our female listeners can hear that answer and understand it, is what you look for in peace is intention and consideration and thought. You want for your mate to be thoughtful, to be empathetic. So like if I've had a long day, I want to be able to come home and rest and have a moment, because I'm a big believer that when you cross the thresholds of your house, that's supposed to be your safe haven.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's like a deep breath.
That's when
Right.
when you listen, you should aim for both of y'all to want to come home and put the key in the door.
And if not, think of something else.
Something's wrong.
Right.
Something's
I can't
wrong.
wait to get home. I can't wait to get home.
And it should feel like that. So I had this conversation with my husband before. It's really about coming home and just having that release and knowing that you feel safe in your walls, because the world is treacherous, right? So this is your castle. This is your fortress. This is where you come to rejuvenate, to heal, to get yourself together, to go back out there and fight the war again. And it's a very personal thing, because you're saying, for me, when I'm looking for my peace looks like a meal, because I ain't good at cooking. I don't want to burn down the house or the kitchen.
Right.
So,
want the food to taste good.
I want
want
to be edible,
Right.
And that's peace for you. That's peace, that acknowledgement that you're out there all day and you just want to come home to have a warm meal. And I think that there's a lot of women that would be willing to do that, right?
Absolutely.
But what more do you need outside of just that? Like when we dig into the crust of the basics, because you can ask plenty of women, they'll say, I cook, I clean, but most of that isn't enough to sustain your peace. So what other, look, Rush, we see you, we coming to you.
Yeah, bro.
Coming to
like,
you.
tag me in, coach.
What more aids into your peace? Because I do not believe that just the plate is enough to sustain your peace, Mike.
It's a big part of it. For me, it's a big part.
Too far into that, real quick, I just really want to commend his verbiage again.
Yeah,
you really good. I mean, you a poet, so you got to be good with the word, but you're really good at smoothing, and I'm gonna keep using the word soothing with your words, because you.
Oh wait, hold on that, because we got Mr. Patience. Shout out to Will, right? And now we got Mr. Smooth.
We got Mr. Smooth. Oh,
Mr. Smooth.
You leave with a nickname. You come as your government, and you leave with a new nickname. Mr. Smooth. I mean, it's smooth and it soothes. You feel me? Because what you said was, as you were going through, you like, I want a helpmate. And in my mind, which I know it probably happened in a lot of other women's mind too, was like, cool. Like me personally, I don't mind being a helpmate. But are you a helpmate as well? And that was something that came up in the conversation this week, as all of the single women are like, these, I need this, this, and this. And we talked about some of the men in the comments. And one man straight up was like, I'm not my woman's helpmate. She my helpmate. And I was like, whoa, brother.
You got
getting out of this deal. But one thing, so immediately I thought that, of course I didn't say it, and you soothed me is what you did. Because what you said was, and vice versa. And that part is what I preach constantly, is that women have strengths and men have strengths. Different women and different men have different strengths. But the thing is in a relationship is identifying those strengths and helping each other along the way. Okay, if I do this, you do this. I don't like to cook, but I like to clean. All right, I'm going to cook, you clean. Whatever it is, and help each other. And you said that perfectly. So you soothed me. Okay, you soothed the question that I had. So I didn't want that to slide by, because that to me is what it's supposed to be. Like you said, if you cooking dinner, I'm gonna make sure you ain't got to change no tires. Because we're gonna be honest, there's some brothers out here, you done been worked all day. You done came home and cooked dinner and cleaned up, and you got to go change your tires and pump your gas because brother ain't doing nothing. It's some of that out here too. We're not gonna act like that's not a thing. So that helpmate piece, and then the collaboration of that. Yes, brother. Thus you got the tambourine. But go ahead, you can finish answering.
Mr. Smooth.
Mr. Smooth. Because he smooth. You feel me? Uh-oh.
Definitely, I would say that, your words. A woman's words. Words are powerful. The things that are said. Especially like you walk in the door or whatever. Like the first thing you say to me is, it could upset me or it could bring me peace. It could make me feel calm. Like man, it could soothe me or whatever. So I would say your words and being able to also listen. So I think communication is really good. Like to listen, how was your day? And like just stuff like that. Being able to vent to. I love to talk. I'll tell things I just let out. So if you're able to listen to me, that's good. And then to have positive feedback. So I would say that's definitely being a part, being my piece, whatever word y'all, whether way y'all using it. Um,
That's good.
it's a lot. This almost like a homework assignment or something like that. Because
right, men to go home and describe
it's so many ways to go. Like it's so many
tonight's
ways.
assignment tomorrow.
Right, we got our glasses on.
Please inbox me all of your answers, man. I hope y'all jotting this down. We will be taking and collecting these papers tomorrow.
But what's important is I feel like for men, I feel like you need to do that homework assignment. Just like Sante always says, like we all need to have our non-negotiables when going into relationships. What are things that we're like, nah, everything else we can talk about and work out and bend on, but if it's these things, that's going to be a no for me. I feel like we need to have our non-negotiables, but we also need to describe what we want our relationships to look like. And then what are those things we need? And so what are those things you want when you come home? What does be your peace looks like? Because I think it should not only be his piece, but he got to be her piece too. It got to be give and take, that teamwork, that balance. You have to be each other's piece. Your home should be peaceful.
Yeah.
So
we got another guest sliding on in here, Mr. Dre.
Hi,
Mr. Dre. So welcome.
He was in the comments like, send me the link.
Because we gonna talk.
Let me in.
Yeah, I was like, cause I wanted to get in, but I had a prior obligation and we got out. So I'm like, I got out, I tuned in, I'm like, oh, it's 8:48. I got a good hour. Okay, good, let's talk. So good evening, everyone. How y'all doing tonight?
All right, how you doing, bro?
Welcome. You a little choppy, but we gonna make it work, Mr. Russell. We glad to have you.
Well, I'm on this phone, so when I get home, I'm gonna be home in like 10-15 minutes tops, but I still want to just try to do my best. So let me know how bad it is, okay?
You got time, because it's Rush's turn and he got lists.
Yes, it's Rush's turn to explain what be his piece sounds like, what that look like. We ready, because Rush over there quiet.
Rush been pondering this for years.
He been pondering it for years, but he hate talking like this. Mm-hmm. And he trying to be invisible, but we
let it out, brother. We want to know.
We see.
I'd say my idea of being my pieces goes back to what I originally said. Loving me as a whole person, understanding that I'm multifaceted. Some days I might want to cuddle. Some days I don't want to. Some days I want to be managed. Some days I want to be really sweet. And so I guess I kind of want to flow with someone like a stream, like mirror each other, and understand sometimes if we can't do that, then we can, take a step away, to, reset. Then my piece is talking to me with love and respect. Because of, as you and I talked, Sante.
I know. You better get it today.
Yesterday.
Talk about you end up off the show.
He was calling me Sante yesterday.
I like it.
And I was like, no, he didn't. I was hung up on the man. I was like, who is this? I said, you done call me some other woman's name. You don't do that to no woman.
You turn into a Sante the spider, sir.
Oh man, I forgot where I was going with that.
I'm bad.
Oh yeah, talking to me with love and respect, like that's one of my triggers from relationships with my parents and stuff. So I don't do well with people who get angry and start, saying, all kind of crazy stuff because I think I try to be mindful about what I say. And I understand that you're going to get upset. Then, you take a minute, all that. But when you start like verbally lashing out, it's not I think maybe it's too much to ask, but I think it might be one of my non-negotiables. Like I can't deal with that because I'm not going to do it to you. Or I'm going to try my best not to do it to you. And that's like
You
really
being
important to me.
validated over to
Cause baby,
yes,
Dre
Miss
here
Ray is over there nodding. He's
That's
nodding.
that's really important to me. Like
Mhm.
understanding that even if I'm doing something wrong or we're having a situation, make sure that what you're saying to me comes from a place of love and not malice. Um, that's that's being my piece, and also picking your battles, right? Because oftentimes, and at work and throughout my everyday life or whatever, when something is irritating me, um, and I'm like about to say something harsh, I stop and I say, "Hold on, do you really care about this, or are you upset at something else?"
Mm. Hmm.
Um, and then I take a minute to go through the files in my head. And it's like, no, I don't really care about that. Or if I do, it's like, okay, what is it that you care about that? And try, and I'm not the best communicator, but I'm trying. And so, and try to convey that as efficiently as I can. So, because I've seen a lot of men who don't want to go home. And at work, I would just go around asking men, hey, you married? They say, yeah. Most of them say, yeah. I say, do you still love your wife? How long you been married? Do you still love her? I had, out of maybe asking about 100 men, 100 black men, I had maybe, not maybe, two men say, yeah. I had one man said,
Right.
I adore my wife.
Hold on a minute. Let me go.
Like,
I'll be right
love
back. Let me ask a question.
Hey,
Mr.
Come
Ray,
on, what? Hey,
are you
babe.
happy?
You still love
said,
me or
have one man said, I adore my wife. And another man said, yeah, I love my wife. The other guys were like, eh, you know, and I was like, ooh, don't want that. And I'm like, so this is why you sit around here 2-3 hours after you done got off work, you
wow.
know? And I've talked to some men and they're like, yeah, I'm sick of it, but they don't want to worry about alimony payments or whatever. And I say, hey, peace is priceless.
Yeah.
You know a guy who worked at this job 35 years. He stayed way longer than he had to. He didn't want his ex-wife to get his pension. And I'm like, but peace is priceless, though.
Yeah.
Give her that. Like, she gonna get it anyway.
You take everything.
But it's like, I believe in, setting up safety nets, but also maybe trying to stop that before it gets to that point. Um, like,
come on,
provision
Robert.
between,
All right.
Backup plan.
yeah, if it's in between, you know, working an extra decade and um and not wanting to go home, I would just give her the money. Is
Yeah.
that ideal? No, but I mean, the stress of it all will kill you.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
true.
So,
I
I
want
have a
to piggyback
backup
off that
question when
too.
y'all done.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Nat do her backup question after Dre, but I just wanted to talk about that because we've also had conversations on the show about perceptions on marriage and how, I've said plenty of times my initial perception on marriage was not a good one. And it was something that I didn't necessarily aspire to have until someone completely changed my mind and made me feel like this was something that I could absolutely do. Look, here she go. Here she done took it to the Disneyland. Okay. And we don't talk about that from a man's perspective a whole lot. Is that sometimes, a lot of times, you all aren't seeing the benefit in marrying someone, because you may see a lot of men that ain't had no peace ever and don't wants to come home and knows most of the time wasn't coming home and everything else. So, that's a really important thing to think about. Oh, we done got a hoe. Wait, we got a hole in here, but I want to make sure we put that up there because
Look,
it's a it seems like a very important comment there. So yes,
come on for your comments, sir.
Yes,
appreciate you.
Thank you.
We ain't read it yet, but thank you for your authoring of this piece.
Participation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at it. I'm gonna have to look at that one. That one's I think
I'm reading that. It's starting out really good.
Somebody answered. He like, you rang. He was ready.
I mean,
ready.
Sante, like you said, I mean, I was asking this question because I was trying to figure out the benefit of it. And, it kind of threw me off. And I'm like, man, all these successful black men out here are all married. None of y'all like your wives? Or I don't want to say you don't like her, but it's more of tolerate.
No. That is the perfect word, because you can love somebody and not like them.
Yeah.
So they may love their wives because maybe they have years invested and they love them just as a person. They may be the mother of their children. So they may love her from that perspective, but they stop liking her and they stop being attracted to her. They stop being connected to her. And that's a really big thing as well. But you had the right verbiage there with the word like, Rush.
I think we also have to really look at the mindset people have when they're going into relationships. Because if you go into the relationships not having your non-negotiables, not having your list of what you need, not having your list of what being my piece is, then you accept certain things and they might be cute at the beginning, but all of that stuff wears off, and now you're in a relationship. I'm not gonna say stuck, because you can always get out the gym. That's a choice. But you're in a relationship years down the line with someone where you feel stuck, where you don't like them anymore. So I think we also have to look at having the mindset of going into serious relationships, or before you commit to someone, having those lists, having what you want your relationship to look like, having what you want your piece to feel like, and making sure that other person can deliver. Because if not, you're walking into that.
Yeah. Also coming across men who wanted their relationship, who loved their wives, who worked, who took care of their children, and it wasn't enough. They still, were left, and they still were put on, child support. Even though they took care of their children 100%, they were still put on child support, alimony, and all of that. And now they are left struggling and having to work ridiculous hours to make ends meet because of things like that. And I was just like, oh,
that's definitely a thing.
And I mean, I understand child support, but I kind of thought that was more so for men who weren't contributing. But I know it varies from situation to situation. But a few men that I've met, they were contributing 100%, paying for school, being a full-time parent. And so that type of stuff is disheartening. And you're like,
also, just to your point, it's not always the women putting men on child support in those situations. Y'all, I don't know if y'all are aware, but in certain cities and states, the government will put you on child support. If your name is on that birth certificate and you're that baby's father, they put the father on child support, or make the mother put the father on child support. So a lot of times it's not, I'm not gonna say a lot of times, I don't know what percentage. Sometimes it's the mother's like run that money, but other times it's the actual government making them do it.
I'm just talking about this
they're
one
receiving
particular.
services, if they're receiving government assistance in some way, like food stamps or medical insurance, etc., they can go after putting that parent on child support.
I'm just talking about this one particular
Yeah,
person.
you just was using that
Yeah,
as an
yeah,
example.
yeah. And I've never seen a man be more accommodating to a woman to try to keep her. And he would just look at me. He's like, "I love her. I want my family, but guess she didn't." So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you got to know what you fully going into. I think a lot of people, in my opinion, we hop into relationships so quickly, like saying I'm committed to this person so quickly, and then that just snowballs into some other stuff real quick. Until you walking down the alley, you like, Dick, who are you? You know what I'm saying?
They were together for
Like,
like 2 decades.
it happens so often. And but if we don't have those, you can date somebody for forever and not truly know who they are. And if you know who they are, just if you allow certain things, and I can speak from experience, Lord, when you allow certain things and you know that's not what you want, it won't last. It won't work. And that's why though creating the homework assignment, y'all, creating
Yes, you know, drop
look,
these
bruh,
answers
in these comments,
I see him because he dropped some extra knowledge in there.
his homework assignment. He won't end up in one of those marriages.
No, he got it. Well, we want to hear from Mr. Dre Russell. What does it mean to you to have your peace? Like, what does that peace look like?
I was driving, so I don't know who's the last person who talked about that because I didn't get a chance to see who it was. But his comments about being his peace, being your peace, is pretty much on par with my thoughts.
But the hair was nodding so hard.
Because for the most part, like, no one comes into a relationship to want to argue. I'm not an argumentative person like that. We can debate we can debate and have a good conversation and go back and forth. But when it comes to the part about yelling disrespectful and doing things like that, and what I mean by disrespectful, I'm talking about like the sisters can go vicious hard. I don't call nobody a bitch. Let me just go ahead and say that right now. I don't use that term. I'm not gonna get mad and say, bitch, what? I'm not gonna do that. Because from when I was younger, my biggest fear was getting slapped in the face for calling somebody a bitch. So I never did it. I saw it happen and I was like, I didn't want that to happen to me. So I'm never gonna call nobody a bitch because I didn't want to be slapped by a woman because that's like that was a biggest fear of mine. And I grew up with that mentality of not calling a woman a bitch. I don't care what the rappers say. I don't care none of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to emulate that. So that was me. So with that, and then coming from a household where it was very argumentative, almost to a point of verbal abuse, and I did not want to experience that. I didn't want to continue that because it's always a cycle. So I'm going to be the person to break that cycle. So when I argue with you or we do get into an argument, I'm not going to go there with rage and anger and hate. I'm going to try my best to be like, what's going on? That's my whole thing. Like, what's going on? I don't agree, whatever. But a sister comes hard. Like, you punk motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And they would go for the jugular on you in a minute, and you just sit there and take it because, number one, you're not going to be resorting to the physical, but you're also not wanting to be accepting all that verbal, too. So what do? So that being said, going back to the peace part, it's about just respecting who I am and how I feel about us. When you come home, it's nice to hear how was your day, because I want to know how your day was too. It's reciprocity. It's not being subservient. It's being supportive. It's a difference between being supportive and being subservient. And a lot of times when people hear be your peace, or I want somebody to be submissive, it's not to a point of being weak. It's to a point of being supportive or being supportive for each other. And if I have a girlfriend or whatever, please, honor my wishes in that, honor my expectations. Everybody talk about honor expectations. Honor my expectations of I don't want to argue. I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do that. I want us to work things out. I want us to not go into a point of where my family, when my mom and my dad was arguing over whatever, and I would wake up in the middle of the night hearing that shit. I don't want to hear all that stuff because it's traumatic. It's my trauma. You know, I don't want that to happen. So with that, when you go into relationships and you see people who kind of had that combative streak, it's a red flag for me, and it turns me off, to be honest with you. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how much I dig you. If I feel like you're going to be to a point to where I'm not comfortable being combative, it's a difference between being cute combative, you know, where okay, you got, you know, you argue about, you know, like Sante is like she's actually a geek, and she surprises me with her geek knowledge sometimes. So when she says something, I'll be like, oh, she know about that. All right, cool. So if she says something about something in Marvel or something like that, I'll be like, okay, cool. And we can debate, we can have conversations. But when you come into a point, oh, you don't know shit, you don't know blah blah blah. That's different.
Gotta go.
That's the right. It's like that's a red flag. So it's a red flag for me. You know what I'm saying? It's that little stuff. You know, that's not cute. That's not cute to me. And it's not about you being a alpha female. It's not about you being whatever sign you think is dominant, and that means you got to be tough. It's just about you as a person.
Say it.
It's just about you as a person. Don't hide behind your sign. Don't hide behind what people think an alpha is supposed to be. You know, because or whatever. Or I'm a strong black woman. Strong black woman doesn't mean be an asshole.
Come on.
Fact, strong black man don't.
Because I have to, like, that's a huge thing for me as a black woman, and something that I really want us to break that barrier. Like that, those two are not synonymous. They're not equivalent. I don't have to abuse you to be strong. I don't want to be abused for you to feel strong. I don't want you to think that as the man that you get to rule over me and I have to diminish myself to make you feel good. And it should be the same way, vice versa.
Come on.
And as someone that
because a bully is a bully is a bully.
Is a bully
all day.
It doesn't matter
right.
what the gender is. If you're a bully, you're a bully. And as someone that is, you know, has a black father, as someone that has a black brother, has a black husband, as a black son, yeah, it's just not okay. And we do have to, as women, control that tongue, because sometimes black women, that tongue is sharper than a katana blade. Okay, we will cut
like
you
a lightsaber,
like
a lightsaber,
sear you, burn you, and it does come from a place of trauma. It comes from a place of anger, and we need to really realize that. And we don't realize how much we injure men, and how it's hard for them to come out of that sometimes. Like they're never the same after. And they never
what you say,
I'm gonna hold you accountable to what you say to me.
We have to hold ourselves accountable. That's what I said at the top of the show. Like me, and I want to know so that I can hold my sisters accountable. But some of the stuff y'all ain't even got to tell me. Like hearing a woman come at a man sideways like that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, period. But especially when it's a good man. You're not gonna come at my brother like that. I ain't even gotta know you, but you're not gonna come at my brother like that. Because what we need to do and what we need to realize is that men feel just like women feel. No matter how we try to make them robots and not feel their feelings and then want them to feel their feelings, first of all, get yourself together because you confused, okay? Before you try to inflict that on one of my brothers. All right, you feel me? But it's the fact that men, to a certain extent, allow it. And we have to, brothers, please don't allow it. Just like I tell my women, you get what you accept. What you allow that brother to do, he gonna keep doing. I want to say the same thing to my men. What you allow that woman to do, she gonna keep doing. So if you allow her to talk to you any kind of way, she's going to keep doing it until you put your foot down or leave and find somebody that's not going to talk to you that way.
I told this sister the exact same thing. I said, I don't like to argue. We can disagree and we can have conversations, but if you get to a point where you start saying things that I feel are disrespectful or hurtful, and you want me to pull, and you trying to pull it out of me, I will walk away. I will leave you alone. And it happened one day where I was like, you made me cuss at you. You made me do this. You made me do what I did not want to do. And you, after I told you, So we stopped talking for a while. I mean, we reconciled, became friends, but the relationship piece is always a scary part because I was like, we can be friends and be cool, but I don't know, because
Because
when you
you
get
cool for
mad,
me and make me somebody I'm not. And we
exactly.
should never get to that point. And I see so many volatile relationships because, and then please, y'all can
You
speak
know
on this,
what?
but I see so many young people in relationships where
Mm-hmm.
they think that's
Mm-hmm.
cute. Where he cussing
Mm-hmm.
her out and
Yes.
she cussing him out,
Yes.
that gotta
Yes.
stop.
You know what?
Yes.
I
It's
when
what
I
they
first
see.
when I
Go
first
ahead, Rush.
like start communicating with a woman and all that. Oftentimes, one of the first questions I ask is, "How do you deal with conflict?"
Come on, you better give a questionnaire.
No, seriously. I
For
need to know
real. I'm
these
serious
things.
too.
Like, how do you behave when you're angry? Because I need to know, like, you're not gonna. I have a what I the energy that you guys see now. This is the energy I want to put out. So it's like you're not gonna change that with whatever turmoil you have going on. And I think going back to the whole, when women are cussing men out and they're allowing it and stuff, I think it goes back to with certain women, if you tell them like that hurts my feelings, and now you're bitching, and then now you feel some men may feel a bit more emasculated, and now you're being extra aggressive to overcompensate for that now, and now things are getting physical and stuff like that. Don't want that. If I cannot be a human being with you, please go about your business.
Mm, say
Yeah.
it again. Go keep far
And I
away. Like
think it's
keep it
a
moving.
confidence piece too. Because if you can't go into it, I think for just in general, if you don't know who you are, you're gonna have a hard time dating. Because you're gonna bend and fold to what other people expect, their ideals, what they like. If you don't know who you are, you're gonna have a hard time dating and being in relationships with other people. Because when you do know who you are, you be in a relationship and stuff start molding and blending. It's supposed to, right? When you're in long-term relationships. But in a situation similar to what Rush just said, like if you're a man who want to express your feelings and you're not confident enough within yourself to be like, if she's not feeling it and she's coming for you sideways, if you're not comfortable and say enough to say, okay, well, have a good day. It was nice getting to know you. Chuck the deuces, and you start to mold into that malicious man where now you cussing folks out and darn near slapping people.
Mhm.
I feel like that happens so many times with men where they became this thing from dealing with toxic women because
But
they
the
went
but
into
the
it not fully knowing who they were. And the same thing with women in a whole lot of different directions. What you gonna say, Rush?
I was gonna say, but then in that point, the only thing that's focused on is um, the physical part, but not all the things that led up to it. Abuse is abuse. Um, and I was in a situation where a woman told me, she said, "Well, you've never hit me, but I do feel verbally and mentally abused by you." And I said, "I could see that." That was about 3, 4 years ago.
Absolutely.
3, 4 years ago, I said, "I could see that." And I had just started going to therapy, and I said, I feel the same way about you, you know, and she flipped. You can't feel that, you can't feel that way about me. And I said, I thought we were going to get to a place where we could talk about it and stuff.
An actual
And I
conversation,
accepted,
perhaps.
How
but
dare you, sir? How
how
dare
dare
you
you
have those
tell me
feelings?
that we're both mistreating each other.
Right.
And that, I remember being confused and pissed off. Like, you know, why do you get to have emotions and I don't?
Mm.
A
Yeah.
lot of women are unfortunately. So one of the things about trauma is sometimes the trauma we have isn't even ours. It's belonging to the people before us. There are a lot of times where I've heard my mom say certain things to me that I should expect or not expect from men, and it was based off her interactions and her trauma. And that was one of the things that I had to unlearn. And I'm not making excuses for any woman here, because at some point we all need to start really doing some reflections and accountability and being honest with ourselves. And I am certainly one of those people that's going to point you out when you doing something wrong. I don't care if you my sister, girlfriend, honey, sugar tea, hood, you wrong too. You too can be wrong. But I think that is the kind of abusive in itself, is that when women assume that they have the just cause or the right to treat you that way because you did something else, or I'm not wrong because, I can expect this from you. I'm the woman, I'm always right. Somebody had posted something earlier this week and was like, what do women do when they wrong? And a lot of the women in the comments were saying, I ain't never wrong. Yes, we are.
Which goes back to the apology conversation we had before. Remember that
Yeah,
conversation?
you and we gonna make a post about it. Drake on my nerves.
He lost his damn mind. He couldn't
Drake on my nerves.
Facebook. I mean, but it's a real.
We apologize. I'm not gonna say everything.
I know you do, but it was so funny to see the opposite of that. It was like, what you talking about? That was foreign language.
Because some women do think they're always right, and some men think they're always right. I think we just have to realize that we can be wrong. We are human, and when we are wrong, say you sorry.
You gonna apologize to me? Ain't no coming back. Like, you want something to eat? No.
Because something that my brother always brings up, and I appreciate him for that, is that you have to get to a point of really prioritizing. Is it more about you loving this person and being happy and being fulfilled, or do you need to be right? I think some people just get so stuck in needing to be right, needing to be better than, needing to be smarter than, needing to assert their
intelligence. Share Wayne's comment, because he
said a better question would be to ask, do you care about being right or getting your relationship right? Exactly. That's what the question is that my brother always brings up.
I got keys. I ain't got no tambourine. I got keys.
You got keys. Keys. I mean, and you really have to get to a point of that. And so the time where Dre was bringing up is when I actually I was trying to initiate the apology. We both were wrong, but I was trying to initiate the apology, but we both ended up initiating the apology. And I went and I bought my husband a car and was like, wrote in it was like, I'm sorry, because I was wrong, despite whatever happened or what, was right. I was still wrong for my part, and I have to be able to assume responsibility for my part, even if he may not see it in that moment. And it shouldn't be, well, he don't apologize, I ain't gonna apologize. No, I need to be able to hold myself accountable, because that allows me to grow, that allows me to set an example for my kids, and that allows for us to get in a healing space. And so I think we need to really do that and give men that. We have this idea that men are always wrong and they ain't gonna never do nothing right, and it's just not fair. We mess up too, ladies. Let's just be honest.
Let's be real.
Everybody does it.
Hold yourself accountable. Say
it. I want to hear from Mr. Mike, because he just been over there pondering.
Mr.
I just
Smooth.
Okay, Mr. Smooth. Come on, Mr. Smooth.
I'm learning. I'm learning a lot from you all, from the brothers talking, and also the comments. I just want to add that I believe that also peace, it starts before you even link up with the person. Whether you're a man or a woman, it's a certain level of peace with yourself and healing that you need to have before you even begin to involve yourself with someone else, because you will take your past and all that hurt and trauma and stuff like that into your relationship, and it will always be damaged. So it's a certain level of peace that you need to have within your mind, within yourself, even being comfortable with being alone, being by yourself, doing things by yourself. Like me, I was always like, when I date, I always needed somebody to go to the show with. Now, if a movie come out, I'll go to the show by myself, and enjoy the movie and hope nobody in the theater, just me and the big old screen sitting up.
Listen, because if you can't enjoy your own company, you can't ask somebody else to. If you
was trying to let you finish,
Right. Hey, took myself to the theater one time. I ain't never had so much fun.
Peace.
Wow.
You ain't just preach, Mike. Like you just, I was over here shouting. My spirit, it said well with my soul. It did. It goes back to what one of Russia's points. He said, "I need you actively healing." And what I never got to say backup / follow up question I was saving for after Dre, but that question is now: what are you all doing to attract that type of woman? You're saying what you need and what qualifies to be your piece, but what are some of the things that you all are bringing to the table as single men to attract that type of woman? One thing that Mike just said though was just that. He just answered that question. He's his piece. He's attracting his piece by being his own piece. So if you are your own piece and you start working on your healing journey, you're not going to allow certain energy in your space. Right. You're not going to allow triggers, that things that once triggered you in your space anymore, because you've learned those triggers. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, depending on where you are in your healing journey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that gave me so much life, because that's that part. You can't expect all of these things in this laundry list of things that you would love to have in your life if you're not bringing that into someone else's life as well. So thank you for that. Yeah. Yes. No problem. So how y'all being is her piece, and what are you bringing to the table to attract that magnificent woman? Because she gonna find you if you putting that energy out. Don't rush to answer.
I know, because you was trying to get in there, rush, and now she opened the floor and you said.
Well, I mean, I started with going to therapy.
Come on. Hold on, brother. All right, go ahead.
I started with going to therapy, and then I did a lot of reflecting, a lot of sitting with myself, going over my actions and stuff, and then I went on an apology tour. I called as many women as I could get in contact with, like, yeah, remember I did this? I'm so sorry. Like,
yeah.
I was in a bad space, and I had quite a few friends. I mean, because these women did stuff to me too now. I had quite a few friends. They were like, did you apologize to her for all that she did to you? And I was like, I don't have to answer for her actions. Just mine.
Get that damn tambourine. Because that's super important. I really, it's a pet peeve of mine when people don't apologize because the other person ain't apologized. And if you wrong, you wrong. You need to take ownership over your wrongs for you ultimately, because you need to grow. If you can't acknowledge what your mistakes was, you are doomed to repeat them. And then you're just gonna go around hurting more people. So you gotta be able to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, I did this, it was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. So
and hurt people.
Hurt people. Yeah. You know, it's cliche as hell, but it's true.
But it's facts.
It's from a trauma place. Like when you're in a traumatic state, you injure those or you bleed all over those around you. And so you absolutely need to suture your own wounds. You need to heal. You need to do whatever it takes to get yourself to a better spot, because you're injuring other people. And, you know, it can't be people I'm being involved with. I'm watching the world because I got 2 people coming into the world. And I'm going to need y'all to heal so y'all kids can get healed. Because they're dealing with my kids. And that's what we going to talk.
Come on.
That's not with you.
You better speak.
I mean, also, I started asking myself, you know, what type of contribution do I want to have as a man in the world? And then thinking, and I said this before, you know, what kind of woman do I want? And then asking myself, is that type of woman looking for this version of me? And then asking myself, like, if I were a woman and a man wanted to court me, how would I want to be treated? And so then I started trying to do those things in hopes that it would attract the type of woman that I'm looking
for. That's beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Damn, that dropped 10 tears. Listen,
facts, all facts. Not one lie told.
Not one lie told.
Not one lie told.
I mean, it's so important to do the self work, and I feel like that's the piece that's missing in a lot of relationships, and probably a lot of those relationships where you ask those men, "Are you still happy? Or are you still in love with your wives?" How many of them say they did that internal work on themselves? Because a lot of, I think we have to also realize you get what you put out. So if you're not present in your relationship or in yourself, even, how do you expect someone else to be there with you?
Dre, I think you had something you was trying to say. Go on, hit us with it.
No, not really. I'm just resonating with everybody. Everybody's pretty much, on point. I haven't heard anything for me to talk out against. I mean, for the most part, I like the fact that we having this conversation and people are being receptive to it. Because, like someone said earlier, as men, our responses are sometimes not taken either seriously or with automatic defense. So it's the feedback is like, what do you mean by that? Well, I just said what I meant. It's not as complicated as you might think. So if I'm telling you I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I'm not.
Get your grilled cheese sandwich.
Right. Get that man a grilled cheese.
Cheese sandwich, right?
Somebody get that man a grilled cheese.
If someone will make me a grilled cheese sandwich, I'd be very appreciative of that right about now.
I am
especially
hungry
now because I'm hungry. So I miss going to get some. I miss stopping to get something to eat because I wanted to be in this conversation.
We appreciate you.
But
that's cool with us.
Love. That is love. That make me want to make you a grilled cheese sandwich and come drop
it. You probably by the time your hunger ends, but it'll
get there.
I'm gonna work it out. Don't worry about it. I'll work it out real quick as soon as it ends. I got a plan.
I have a really important question though that I want to ask you. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but I really want to focus on the question because it's important. And we talk a lot about protection and safety. What does it require for you to feel safe with a woman? Because men need to feel safe with women too. And we're not talking about that she needs to be, a ninja and she can come out. She don't need to be a Jedi and come out and save you. But
Jedi women are dope.
But yes, they are. But you're not necessarily looking for that. But
I've seen that woman with the fro and the sword.
Of course we have. What does safety look like for you? And what are your struggles with finding that in women? We talked about it a little bit, but I want to hear it and I wanted to get out there because, we don't talk about that enough because men don't feel safe with us either. We don't feel safe with Black men and they ain't feeling safe with us. So what is that?
Like we don't.
Can I go first?
Go ahead, Dre.
I think, and the brothers can either nod or give me a thumbs down. But I think the key concept, the core value of that is trust. The core value of that is trust. Trust. If I trust you, and I can rely on you, then that is my safety because I don't have to worry about anything. And what does trust look like? Trust looks like being able to have a conversation with you without having it reversed like a Uno card. Trust is being able to say, or trust is like saying I got it, I'm gonna take care of it, and you actually allow me to do it without micromanaging or even minimizing my efforts as a man or whatever. You gonna fuck up or what I'm saying, or predict. Not saying I will, but it's kind of like it's cliche now from the TV shows where the man tries to do something or in the commercials. Even in the commercials now they have it where the man says I'm gonna take care of it and the wife is like whatever. Allow that man to take care of it, and if he fails, allow him to fail without having to be on his back about it. Don't predict his failure. Don't predict his failure. Be like, okay, cool. You got this until you don't. And then when you don't, we'll figure it out. Instead of throwing it back in his face. That's trust. That's allowing me to make my steps because I may or may not know how to do it, but allow me to make these moves without you having to micromanage and say, oh, no, you need to do this, blah, 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 blah. Now we're starting to have issues because now I feel like you're doubting me. And doubt for a man with his woman is big. Goes into trust. It goes into trust. Trust me to do what I have to do until I don't. That's pretty much what it is. I know it's a brave thing to say and a brave thing to do, but it's a leap of faith. It really is. And faith and trust goes hand in hand when it comes to relationships. Now I'm not saying let him jack up the bills or nothing like that. Do nothing like I'm not saying that. Hey, be on that. We're talking about holistic. We're talking about holistic values that's at the core of relationships. We're talking about those values where if you do that, then if you bring me that comfort of me just having that conversation, I'm talking to you, talking to me, and you're not trying to micromanage or even trying to therapize. You know what I mean? Whatever. Go from there, and it works. I'm comfortable with that. I'm safe. If I can fall asleep in your lap, I'm good without having to be like, what you doing?
That's good.
That's definitely not peace if you can't even take a nap.
Right. So yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I loved what you said. Just based off the fact that for me as a woman, it was educating because I get the trust part. I get that. But it's the part where you say, even if I don't got it, allow you the opportunity to fail and then just say, okay, we can fix it together. It was that part for me. So thank you. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being open. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I would like y'all to answer the rest of the men to also answer that question, and then I would like to piggyback a comment off of that. But go ahead, first, Mike, for that same question.
I'm gonna try to piggyback off of it, but man, he really broke that down. Like I'm sitting up here thinking about the trust factor and looking back at my previous, marriage and stuff like that, and I can recall this one time where I was asleep and woke up and my significant other was just staring at me in my face, and that was that was kind of scary to me. I was like, man, like do I have to sleep with one eye open or because you want to feel comfortable around who you with, and I would like to add this. It's good to be with somebody that's not toxic, that brings negative situations to you or puts you in negative situations, or that's messy or gossips, and put your business, as far as your marriage, your union out there in the streets amongst family and things like that, because it can really things can get out of hand. It could break up your relationship, so that helps, as far as her, protecting me, is protecting, our relationship, protecting our union, what we have, as a couple. So it's good to be aware and conscious of the person that you are dealing with, that they don't put you in situations like that, even with the police pulling you over. You know what I'm saying? Like, baby, just be cool. I got this. Don't get things out of hand to get the officer fired up. You know what I'm saying? Because he probably gonna point that gun at me, off of something that you say, So it's just things like that, that I would say, not having a woman that's toxic and put you in situations where you got to fight as a man, where you ain't gonna knock them out. You know what I'm saying? But you done did this to make that situation come our way, So that's my 2 cents.
That's a good point too, because I feel like we talked about it earlier, how these toxic relationships are being seen as ideal, but it's like, who wants that? Where everybody cussing out everybody, and in that same lane, you have people mouthing off to people and then expecting other people to come to the rescue. It's like, whoa, Why would you do that? Why would you put us in this situation?
Yeah.
So true. And especially with the telling your business thing, I think we all have to understand, men and women, that when it comes to your relationship, that relationship is yours. And once you start to tell people a lot of your business, especially in the midst of it as it's happening, people hold on to those things. Because a lot of the times we talk a lot about the negative, but we don't talk as much about the good. And people hold on to those negatives. So even when things are good, or you work through the patch that you were going through, they still holding on to what you said.
Right.
So I think that's trust too. That's like that bond of your relationship. So absolutely.
Most definitely.
Well, I want to hear from Rush. about the safety. Although I kind of know what Rush gonna say because we have had
What,
this
what I'm gonna say? Look, no,
Yeah, you already what I'm saying.
conversation already, and
well,
you
let
have
me hear. Let me. What do you think I'm gonna
but
say? What do you think I'm
I
gonna say?
wasn't finna speak for you. I just know where you got to go because you've
I
expressed
want to know what you think I'm
it.
gonna say now.
It's, well, you pretty much have said it already. About just really allowing a space to be vulnerable, to express when you have emotions, because you have not had the best experiences with that. And that you feel that a lot of time women can be extremely emasculating when it comes to showing emotional stuff and being emotionally intelligent. And that you are in your healing journey. So you don't want people to expect you to go backwards in that healing journey, and that's safety for you too. So, am I on? Am I on?
You are. You are.
Okay. Touche. All
When
right.
you know,
All right, let me
You
stop.
be listening. Okay.
when you first posed the question, I just started thinking about different experiences that I've had. And I'm like, what made me trust them? You know, and to begin with, and it goes back into the vulnerability with one woman in particular. I was able to be vulnerable and talk about, um, being depressed and um, and how it was affecting me and stuff like that. And so I would go to work, you know, have a terrible day. I don't want to be there. I'm dragging, and I'll reach in my pocket. Some days it was my coat pocket. Some days it was my back pocket. Some days it was my lunch bag. Some days it was a book I was reading, and there would be a little note in there, different notes, and it'll say things like, "You are handsome.
Mm.
You are valiant. You are loved. Um, you are." It was just very like she would just leave me positive affirmations. Now this relationship ended terribly, but I still appreciated those things, and that's what made me, um, you know, feel safe. Um, or little things like when it first started, it was mostly a sexual relationship, and I think where the trust really started was, even though I knew that's what she wanted, she was like, you know what, come over anyway. And I felt so sick, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm just gonna go home. She's like, come over anyway. I came over, and she just gave me some medicine. She just gave me some medicine and rubbed my stomach, and I went to sleep. Like it was very soothing.
I just read
She
the
rubbed
book.
your stomach, bro.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
Drake.
all of them
Drake.
do, but yeah.
Did
She
you
rubbed.
just exhale? He just had his exhale moment. He
I
exhaled.
can't imagine the last time somebody rubbed me.
And then it happened. I was able to exhale.
But
She
Now you
rubbed the
will want that
belly
to
and
rub
gave you.
your
She
stomach.
rubbed the
Okay.
belly and gave you medicine, bro. I mean, man.
I mean, that was touching for me because that was not the connection that we had at the time.
Mhm.
You
It took
know,
you
that
to
wasn't
another level.
anything. Yeah, that wasn't anything that I expected of her. And she didn't at that time. She didn't belittle me for being a human being, and
Fuck buddy stepping in.
it really started after going to therapy and running into women, black women specifically. Because I've spent a lot of time with black women, and that's from my experience. Those are really the ones that stop crying. Don't all that stuff, and they would tell me like it's okay to cry, and I'd be like, no, 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 you ain't gonna get me with that. And they're like, no, it's
It's a trick.
it's okay to cry, and then oftentimes they would cry with me, and I think those women, I'm like, okay, she feeling something, she loved me or something, because they were able to, empathize with me so deeply that they felt what I was feeling,
Mm.
um, and so the trust was built in those moments.
That's so
Those
important.
were
Though.
beautiful
I just
moments, though.
I want that back for men.
Yeah.
I really feel like y'all get so dehumanized. I think we all do, but I also think that you're dehumanized in a different way. And I think that that's a disconnect we have with each other, is that it's like, well, what about my dehumanization? Right. But men are being dehumanized in a lot of ways by us. And we need to acknowledge that. And I care a whole lot about this conversation, just not only because I love Black men and I'm loved on by Black men, but I really want a better tomorrow for my Black son that I'm raising into a Black man. And he deserves to go out in the world and be made to feel like a human being and be made to feel important and made to matter. And if he has Black women and other Black people telling him that he doesn't, it's going to be so much easier for non-Black people to tell him that he doesn't, and he believes it. So it's like we have to start within us of making it matter for our kids. And that's what I think about, is that I'm raising a Black child, two Black children. I'm raising a Black son, however. And what I want him to see in himself when he in the world, I need to start making the space for that. And we need to start making the space for that for all of our little boys. Because that's a big reflection of how they're going to see themselves. That's a big reflection of how they're going to navigate through the world. And if we don't start doing that now and telling y'all that y'all matter, it's just going to get worse. And I really feel like that's the root of it. We need to get back to that and allow men to feel human, and not just they have to be superheroes or impervious.
And not even allowing them to feel human, allowing them to be human. I feel like it's a lot of times where men feel like they have to behave a certain way, or and then having to behave a certain way in different situations, because they may want to express their feelings, but they get around a woman and they may let a little out, and then they get around a boys and they're like, no, I gotta be hard. And then it's like they gotta wear so many masks and juggle so many balls. And we already talked about how many balls women juggle, but men have to juggle those balls, I feel, emotionally, when they're not even allowed to express their emotions in certain situations. But I just need to reaffirm y'all for a second, because in those beautiful moments that Rush expressed that he had with his ex, and Dre having the exhale on the,
he had the moment.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
From now on, I want that to be part of my expectations. You gotta at least
give me medicine around my stomach. Grilled cheese ain't sit right. I need you to rub the belly.
No, if the grilled cheese ain't sitting right, don't eat it again and put her out, Dre.
Get you some vegan cheese, okay? But wait, I really need y'all to understand. And every man that's watching, and Wayne, thank you for going crazy in these comments.
He's an author. He's a writer.
He's right.
I really appreciate you for going crazy in these comments. And next time we have a conversation like this, we definitely got to get you on the show.
I already got it hooked up, sis.
Okay. I was like, please.
Because the next show is going to be about the man again. So we going to need us some Wayne.
Bruh, we need you. Because we had a hard time with men folk. But I'm so glad, one, that all of y'all came on the show. I'm so glad that we got some strong, amazing men in the comments, because and countless ones that may be watching and not saying anything. I really want you guys to know that you are deserving of being treated like kings. And I know a lot of times the focus is on, treating women like queens. Absolutely. I'm not saying don't do that. Okay. But in return, you should be treated like a king as well. It should not be far-fetched for you to have a emotional conversation with your woman. It should not be far-fetched for you to be talked to with respect. It should not be far-fetched for you to be able to cry and express your feelings in front of your woman. It should not be far-fetched that any of the things on y'all, because y'all know I'm going to recap this list in a little bit. Any of these, everything on your list is not too much. And I know a lot of times we tell women when they got their list, you want too much. Like, you need to bring your standards down. But I'm not going to tell you that, because one, I'm glad that y'all have a list. Men need to have a list, okay? Because like Wayne was saying in the comments, them toxic women still getting cuffed. And he like, that's crazy. Because I need y'all to have a list, or y'all going to have headaches for the rest of y'all life.
Wait, hold on. Let me pause on that comment real quick. I don't want anybody ever comparing themselves to any toxic person that has been cuffed. Because I'm here to tell you 9 times out of 10, they've been cuffed by another toxic person.
Don't do it.
And that is not a healthy situation. You are not missing out. So if you are noticing that toxic people are being cuffed,
let them be cuffed.
Let them be cuffed because they're being cuffed along with toxicity, and you don't
They'll be
want
single again. They'll be
Right.
single again
Wait,
real
give it a little
soon.
bit.
you'll be
Give it a
seeing them
minute.
again.
But
So
I mean, I need y'all to know that it's okay, and for to culminate the conversation between the men and the women, it's okay for whomever you are, male, female, to stay single until you find the right person, the person that can fulfill your list. And as long as it's not them non-negotiables that we talked about, you need to have, then you, baby, you work it out with that person and get your list, honey. I mean, compromise, yeah, but not to the extent of your peace. You deserve to feel loved. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel respected. And that goes both ways, men and women. And those men and women who are looking for the same thing just got to find each other. And the sad part is that we got to weed through the toxic people, but we can't give up hope, because clearly through this conversation, I hope everybody sees that that option is out there. You can find what you're looking for. That's all I'm saying.
So we're approaching the hours. Look, he done shook his keys.
I'm
I
okay.
got an additional question, and I want to hear from each of y'all, because this conversation is also about, committing. I want you guys to set the record straight that Black men aren't afraid to commit. Like, there's this whole ideology that Black men don't want to commit. But I know for a fact that Dre, with the right circumstance, the right woman, I peg him as a man that wants to commit. I know what Rush intentions are, and based on this conversation that
I heard the narrative about Robert snatching you up, so we know it's Black men that want to commit.
It's definitely Black men out there that want a wife, that's looking to marry somebody. So I want to put that myth to bear right here, and I want to hear it from each of you. Tell everybody listening, no, I want to commit, but this is what I need to commit. Go ahead. Who gonna start?
Not it.
We're gonna pass it to Mike. He been quiet. Come on, Mike. Come through.
I think commitment, like you say, that list. And sometimes you could, not to say that you're lowering your standards, but if you feel a certain vibe or a certain magic with a person and stuff is moving fast and you both of y'all feeling the flow, you can actually commit. Like, it may not be psychological in your head like that, I'm ready to commit, but something could just happen. It could just be that flow, and something that you used to have, and you might have been single for a while, and you finally feel you'd have been on many dates before, and you never felt this from a person before, and you will take that chance, So I believe that commitment is something where you kind of have to be ready mentally, and spiritually, for commitment, and understand, also what you're getting yourself into, So yeah, I feel if you ain't sold your royal oats or did whatever, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't commit. If you a certain way as a male, you got a problem with settling down with one woman, or lusting after different women, you can't be cool with one. I don't think you should even try to fool that woman or try to fool yourself. Do whatever you can to get those emotions or those feelings out of you, so you can be able to commit with somebody. You ain't got to be in a relationship trying to sneak and do this and lie, and I'm not a good liar, so that wouldn't work with me. No way. I've never been good at lying or trying to perpetrate. I believe in kind of being upfront, and commitment is scary. I think it's still a scary thing. You gonna have your fears with that. I think that's just natural. It's just natural. So that's just a little bit of my side of commitment. I don't have no book like my bro Wayne do.
I think you hit it spot on with that piece. Look, Sante had to find her a box. I grabbed the camera. You had a whole.
I still ain't got my instruments. I keep saying I'm gonna order my triangle, but I'm gonna get the triangle together.
I mean, the part for me is that if you're not ready, don't do it. And I've been preaching that since my teen years. Just be 100 with wherever you are and whoever you talking to, because you never know what they might be into too. And if you're not trying to commit, then don't say you trying to commit, because you ain't doing nothing but breaking hearts. Don't even say I'm interested in possibly committing if you know that's not where you are. Just go in with wherever you at. Are we just kicking it? Are we dating? Are we together? Just put it all out on the table and be truthful. And then that way everybody's good. And when the situation changes, then have another conversation then.
Here's the
And then
thing,
it's also some comments
honestly,
about polyamory in the chats.
I see that, but what people don't also understand is that sometimes if you ask, you may receive. So if you ask and say what you want, you might be very pleasantly surprised on that person.
I hit different. Listen.
Look, I hit because a lot of times, with the right person, because there are a lot of people that say that they want honesty, but aren't really prepared for honesty. But there are a lot of women, and I'm speaking from being one of those persons where I just want the truth, whatever that truth may be.
Keep it real and let me decide
about it.
And let me make an educated decision. I think it's too many people trying to mask and hide the truth and not allowing people to make an educated decision, and that's when people's feelings get hurt.
Facts, absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Yes,
thank y'all. Yo.
I'm waiting for Dre. Go ahead, Dre. What you need, friend?
I'm just reflecting on the last person who I actually has stepped up and made that verbal and mental and spiritual conversation about commitment. I dated her for a while. I liked her, interested in her. We vibed. We had a great vibe and everything like that. I had trust. I trusted her. Was comfortable, with that. And I made that. I had a conversation. It's like, I really want to. Because when you date with intention. I'm not just dating you just to be hanging out. I can hang out with anybody, but I'm dating you because I want to build on something. Because you seem to be that worthiness, and we gonna make this work. And I literally cried when I told her that I wanted to, be official. Because I was like, it's been a while. It was a while. I literally got emotional because I was like, I haven't felt this way in such a long time. I have been, been going through relationships and, kind of in and out. They call me a serial dater, stuff like that, and it may, but I was like, I really want to play the big kids game, be, and do that.
All right.
And that was okay. So that was the last time. Since then, it's like, I still want to do that, but for those who I probably would be willing to commit to, I don't know if they really want a relationship on that level. They kind of still want to, do their thing a little bit. Yes. Which is their thing, so that's why it's when you ask why I'm single, it's not because I'm not necessarily haven't been looking or trying, but when you meet somebody, you think you might have a connection, you think you might have a connection, you got to fill it out, and then they either disappear or they, not necessarily disappear. They still like your post, so they or whatever, but they not really,
because men get ghosted too now.
Engaging, right? Engaging. So it is what it is. So yeah, it's a lot of different levels to it, but I definitely believe that men can commit. I want to say we can commit. I want to commit. I just got to make sure that everything is all in the right places, because I'm at that age where I don't really want to go through just dating just because. That's it. So that's my answer.
Tamarine. It's a Tamarine, damn it. Yes. These my lens wipes for my glasses too. This is the closest thing to me. Because the lens wipes keep the glasses clear. All right, Rush. Let's hear from you, Russia. What do you need to commit? Oh, that side was like, why?
Right. What was that?
I would like to commit. I'm having some issues. Having some issues. I mean, honestly, I have, like I was telling Sante yesterday, I I try to listen. I try to listen to women. I wasn't always, the best listener. I try to listen to them, and then oftentimes I'm observing that, as I've told you yesterday, women are like, I don't want this, 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 and this in a man. And then when you look at who they entertain, it's the exact man they said they did not want. And, for me, it was like really confusing. And then also listening and hearing them say, like, oh, I want a gentleman, I want a man who does this, 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 and this. And then I have women inboxing me saying, they don't want gentlemen. We don't want gentlemen. And I'm like,
Mm.
but that's what you said you wanted. No, I know we did, but we don't want that.
They
And I'm
don't want
like, okay. Trying to be, intentional and communicate. Say like, hey, I'd like to do this, this, and this. Are you up for that? And then they'll say yes, but their actions kind of don't line up. And so, noticing that, hearing women say that they want someone to get to know them, and then when you try to get to know them, they won't let you. Uh, and it's happened, a couple times. I get it. Maybe, some women have, like some trauma with that and all of that. And so it's like, okay, well, I can only do so much. Uh, so I'm here. And you know what? Um, they want gentlemen, but not like that. I was like, you know what? I put a lot of effort into. They want the brother that got the swag, the future, the truth, and like,
And I was waiting to be able to say that, but they don't understand that more than likely, those
yeah,
are two extremes, right?
yeah. I
And
was
so
gonna say that
they,
anyway. I was
they
gonna
don't
say
have a
that.
very realistic expectation, and they think that they see, because most women have a very ill-informed ideology of what a healthy man looks like. To them, having the swag as future appears to be masculine, and it's not.
And that's the thing. I just be looking at it like, okay, so you walking around here saying you want the shooter, but you want him to be emotionally intelligent. That's you talking about two different men, sis. Like, uh,
Mm.
it ain't happening.
That's the same
And so
confused woman that's saying she wants you to care about her feelings, but she don't want you to feel yours. It's the same
Hmm.
yeah,
confused
and I mean, honestly, I'm getting tired of it, and I'm like, you know what? All of the because I put a lot of effort into things and trying to get to know women and such. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just these all these lavish dates that I try to plan and take women out on. I'm gonna take myself. I'm gonna take my friends. Um, like that every time
I like that correction.
I'm gonna take myself and my friends because it's like I it's I get some people say like it's a mind game. I don't want to play mind games with you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
We're
Yeah,
adults.
Mhm.
don't do that.
What do
Hold on.
you
I'm gonna
want?
let you finish. I'm gonna
I'm
Kanye
like,
you for a second. I'm gonna let you finish. But can we y'all like cancel culture? And that's the thing or whatever. Can you cancel that? Can you cancel being grounded in that thing, still trying to play games? Say what you mean what you say, and then let your actions follow behind that. Okay? I
Mhm.
just
I
want
don't
to
People
want to play.
still believe that that's the best way to get
you
to the result,
grown.
but it's not, because you play games and you don't get the real thing. You don't get authenticity at all. So it's not
Put
going to
no
take you
mask in front. Be who you are, and let
back.
the right person find you for exactly who you are. If you messy, be messy, and let another messy person find you. Y'all be messy together.
Look, we
If,
just talked about that toxicity in relationships now. Go ahead,
I
Russia.
don't. I don't. I don't want to play those games. Like, yeah, you gotta text her back 4 hours later so you don't look too thirsty. What? Bro? I want to get to know you. I'm here. Yeah, when you text me, I'm gonna text you back. I wanna get to know you.
we
I'm here.
grown.
It's too much. It's too much. And I have a friend who sometimes she cries and she's like, I want to love a black man. I don't want to love any other type of man. I feel the same way. Like, I have a lot of cousins that's dating white people. They look happy, and I'm all for that. But I'm like, I want to love a black woman, but I'm having a hard time, you know.
Yeah.
um,
Cheat out there. Don't give up.
But I'm a tambourine. You wanting to love a black woman?
Yeah. See, listen, because that's something we don't get to hear often, and I think that's a lot of the rage that black women have is being made to feel like they're not the choice. And so having black men that say, no, actually, I want a black woman. I'm trying to have and love on a black woman and have a black family. I hope that that's inspirational to women out there that's not feeling like they're desired by black men. You just ain't ran across the right one yet, sis.
That
And
part. Don't let people
out there.
toxicity stop you from finding what's meant for you. And know that that's toxic in every race. So running to another race ain't gonna save nothing. It's
No.
toxic in every race. It's crazy in every race. So good luck to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just trying to find the balance, and healthy balance, you know. And yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna spend more time, with myself and my friends whenever my friend decide to come outside.
Yeah, y'all know I've been in the house. Some of this COVID.
Yeah.
But you can take me on a date, best friend. We can go.
Look,
I put my mask on. I'll put my mask on, best friend. We can go.
Yeah. That woman
That's
down
good.
there, is staying out there with future swag and treat you like Russell.
No, it's not.
Where?
Because
all the good men not swag. We're not gonna do that.
I don't understand what his swag is. Because maybe that's the issue.
Are we talking about style or character? Because his character is
trash. We're talking about the man that acts like he don't need you, he don't like you. For some reason, you know what? In the
that ain't swag.
Women that I have not treated in this fashion, and it was like, I don't give a fuck if we fuck together or not. Couldn't get rid of those women. Couldn't get rid of it.
But that's trauma.
Yeah, couldn't get rid of it.
Women have a lot of trauma, just like men have trauma. Women have trauma, and women have the trauma of wanting what they can't have. I know some men have that too, but the toxicity. It's like you're attracted to.
Okay, so it's not even that women want what they can't have. Women have been told beyond for eons that their validity is wrapped up or tied to being the woman behind the man, right? You need to be the one that makes a man want to be better, want to do better, to change for you, like all of that.
The whole complex.
So a lot of women need to feel like they're that woman and they're the one to feel validated. So it's not even about wanting something that they can't have. It's about being the one that's the ride or die, being the one that's proven themselves to a detriment. And then there's a lot of resentment that follows after trying to be that one to hold up the toxic person, the broken person. And there is no ride or die when everyone's broken and falling apart.
And can we fix
that? Only die.
Yeah. Nobody, they got to fix themselves. So let's kill that noise now.
Yeah, that whole I'm gonna ride till the wheels fall off. Wow.
Baby.
My tire's good. Come over here, our wheels ain't falling off.
Can we hear this from a man's perspective? Because for all of the women who are out there trying to be the super saver hoes and trying to fix a brother, can from a man's perspective, can we just get it a real moment? A man ain't gonna commit till he ready. Yay or nay?
Yeah.
And ain't nothing a woman can do with an unready man.
You can try, but it ain't going. But it might not end well. It might either end
well.
It might either win a heartbreak or resentment, or a little bit of both.
Both of them. That's why I don't have that woman now.
You heard it here, folks. Stop it.
Because and to add, if he tells you where he is with you or what his intentions are with you, you can't change it.
And you shouldn't try.
Can we stop something else? I've had 2 women in this week, I think, tell me, women don't want a man that other women don't want. And I've been thinking about that.
Yes, Mike. I'm sorry. We are past our 10 o'clock hour. And I know that people got to do things. If y'all like me, I do believe I still have work come the morning. And we are going to be continuing center focusing men next week, because next week's conversation is going to be about men having pain too, and really just shining light on humanizing men again, and making sure we're talking about the daily struggles that men may not talk about all the time, from their perspective of living in the world. And then we're gonna have the flip side of that for the ladies. We usually do the ladies first, but we gonna go the opposite way around.
And then go ladies, because we got cheated last week.
Y'all got cheated last week. Y'all got cheated last. Now you make me feel like I should have y'all last week. Listen. I'm so sorry. And if y'all was watching last week,
people gonna be where they
those dudes in those comments were the literal reason why a lot of women decide to stay single. I was reading
But you know what? Y'all saved the day. I don't want y'all to leave without knowing that. Like, yes, the men from last week, and y'all can catch the replay if y'all haven't seen it. Go follow us on all social media platforms. Oh, we gonna talk, okay? And catch the replay. But also know that you all, we know y'all not perfect, but you have shown an example of a man with emotional maturity who is ready to commit, and that it exists. For a lot of women in their everyday life, they don't think it exists. You just showed them that it does. So thank you all for being authentically who you are, flaws and all, but you're worthy, and you're letting women out there know that it exists. You know that commercial? It does exist. They do exist. They do exist. So thank y'all. And should I go through my recap list real quick for all the ladies, letting y'all know what y'all need to get?
First, we gonna let Mr. Mike go, because the man said he needs a meal. Okay,
Me too. Me too.
Listen, I'm hungry, sis. So we might have to hold the list.
Oh, that's all right. We're coming back next week.
We coming back.
Just watch the show over.
If I ain't learned anything, you don't get in the way of a man feeling his stomach. Okay, the man needs to
just watch the show. You'll get it.
No, everything was good though. Very intriguing. You know, I learned a lot. You know about you all, how you all think from the brothers. Even myself, like, cause I ain't had no book answering these questions. You know, it just pretty much came from my experiences, the things that I know from my own personal relationships and dealing with myself. As a man. So I thank y'all for having this, and as brothers, we need to vent more. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have conversations, about this. So most definitely, I'm glad I joined on.
We glad to have you. And we trying to build that space. We gonna build that bridge between us and y'all, and we gonna get it together, because we can't make it without each other. So we need
that bridge to be spacious.
We need one another. Absolutely. So join us next week. We gonna continue the conversation. If y'all ain't ate, go get y'all some food. Okay. Get out. Go get your grilled cheese, your fruit cocktail cup. If you have them, be careful.
Not the fruit cup.
Sorry, I'm gonna leave the fruit alone. I'm trying.
Rush reached up and grabbed his fruit.
Is that fruit? Is that
like
I'm out. I'm out. I'm finna make something to eat right now. But thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the conversation.
Good night, y'all.